Welcome to How to Be a Humane Leader Without Losing Your Job. We're here to chat about humane leadership in a way that's real and relatable, tackling work-life challenges and offering practical advice to navigate tough decisions. Whether you're leading a team or navigating your own career, we've got you covered. I'm Chris Olerking, a Fortune 100 IT leader, and with me is Roberto Torres, a startup engineering leader. We'll dive into real-world stuff, share experiences, and offer guidance on leading with compassion while keeping your career on track. Today, we're going to discuss how to tell during an interview if you're at a humane leadership company or not, and what are some key phrases to listen for. Hey, Roberto, I think you've got some interesting insights on this topic.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Fresh ones, actually.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes, sir. Let's dive into this. And for that in mind, I think the better insight that you could get while in an interview is when you, as an interviewee, ask at the end of the interview to the interviewer specific questions related to the culture of the company. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and have you had some key questions you like to use when you interview? Are there some key things you ask them?
Yeah, well, basically, one of the things that I asked is related to the culture of that company. And what I'm looking at, what I'm trying to read when I ask this question is the passion that the interviewer is telling them about the culture. Is there a passion or is that a mild answer? Is there something that they're providing? Are they eager? Their face gestures, they're moving their hands, making some example, passionate. And that's the thing I'm looking for when I'm trying. I'm being interviewed at a company because otherwise you could see if there is a culture which it isn't aligned to your values or the one that you're looking for.
Yeah, certainly. I sometimes, in many interviews, they'll be very social at the beginning, just kind of a chit chat, getting to know you. And one of the key things I always listened for was about their latest vacation and coming back to the office. I have found that many interviewers give away that they were dreading coming back to the office from their vacation, their holiday. And if they tip their hand and say, yeah, and unfortunately, my ski trip ended and I had to come back here, even if they do it with a smile on their face, it is possibly an indication that things aren't going as well at work as you would hope, or if they brag and say, well, I haven't been on vacation in 5 years, I'm working so hard. Now that could be, some excitement about the job, but if they haven't been on holiday for a long time, it might be that the company culture doesn't want you to go anywhere. We give unlimited vacation, but you can't take any of it. Those kinds of things in a culture are not particularly humane. They sound humane on the surface, right? You go to the company website, you're researching where you're going to interview and what are some of the benefits. Hey, they offer unlimited vacation time. But as you interview and you try to get to know some of the people and it turns out, yeah, I haven't had a vacation in 2 years. You've been here 10 years, so you got some seniority and you haven't gone anywhere with that unlimited vacation. That seems odd to me. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily tip my hand that I recognize that there's something wrong at this company with that kind of culture, but it might be a leading indicator that something's not quite right. You got unlimited vacation and your leadership isn't taking any, and maybe they've tipped their hand a little bit that they were dreading a little bit coming back to the office. I would be very suspicious of that company's culture, that maybe their website's not as true as what their actual actions are.
Yeah, Yeah, indeed. And one thing is you have to read through the the answer that this people is uh, telling you. But most important, you have to ask that person a question that will throw him off balance. And with that, they will give you the right truth. Uh, if there is something specific about the culture that you have read or that you want to know, it's really, really important for you to throw that question that keep them off the balance. And with that in mind, they will tell you a much harder truth that something that they might be either hiding or blocking. Is that kind of important? And one thing that I have to say is um, you have to also read with the interviewer if they are desperate for you to be part of this company, not because you're the person who's going to bring a lot of solutions, but more important, the ones that are going to to say, I cannot stand being at this company anymore. I require someone to be with me, to face everything that's happening. Also, that's something that you have to look at. Are they looking for me because I'm an amazing guy, an amazing girl who is going to solve everything, or is it going to be the opposite? This might be a kind of weird, but it is true. There is, a difference between the eagerness and the hastiness of you coming to a new company.
Yes, absolutely agree. I think that you can watch for those subtle cues of do they look really tired? Do they look exhausted? They're asking the questions, but their tone of voice is just not as enthusiastic. They're very enthusiastic, perhaps, to get you hired, like you're saying, but as you look, you can see chaos behind their eyes of what's really going on in the company.
Oh, yeah. One thing that you could ask maybe is when is the last time you were burned out? They're not going to expect that. And you will see if they are, I don't know, maybe you will say at the beginning, yes, when I got 4 years ago, but they changed the culture base, but and you can say, oh, okay, they're evolving culture towards from chaos, going to order. I like that. If they say, I never been into a chaos in a company, that's like, huh, you're a startup. How come you're never into a burnt out state? So those kind of stuff. Well, that is in a startup. In a big, well-known company, you could say how if burnout is present or not.
Yep. No, exactly. And I think most people I think can detect that they really have the person you're interviewing with, they really have burnout, but they're lying about it, right? You can kind of detect that they're tired and desperate to hire, like you're saying. Another thing I like to do is, when you visit the company's website as part of your preparation for the interview and learning about the company, and there are some humane topics that they bring up as part of their company culture. Come join us, and where we are, like I mentioned, unlimited vacation, and we invest in our training and employees, and so on. Well, okay, ask some specific questions about the training, for example, is a good one. I would not dwell on vacation in an interview, because I do think that if all you care about is vacation, the interviewer may be turned off by that. But if you ask about some of the positive culture things that they have on their website that benefits both of you, right? Benefits the company and the employee. Oh, you really focus on investing in training in your employees. What was the last training you went on, sir? Oh, I haven't been to training in 4 years. Huh. Company invests in training, but you've been here 10 years and they're not investing in you. Interesting topic. When was the last time someone on your team went to training, and what was it? Oh, I haven't been able to send anyone on my team for training for 2 years because the budget, got cut. Oh, interesting. Good to know. There
Yeah.
are conflicts in what a company says on their website costs them nothing. What a company actually does for humane leadership costs money, right? It's either money in terms of them allowing the leadership team to spend time coaching you and mentoring you to make you better. That costs money, right? Because they're not working on something else. Is it that the company spends real money, sends employees to technical training to develop their skills? Topic du jour is can be very important to capture before you go into the interview, and then slowly feed them out as you're going through the interview process when they're asking you things to find out how much of the company's website's real. What are they really putting into practice in the company?
Uh, and I like your questions. I think they are very specific, and they will give you pointers about what is going on within the company. Also, one thing that I have to add regarding this kind of questions are the ones related to yourself. Maybe not to yourself, to the interviewer. Uh, it should be, remember that it has to be as professional. You cannot ask, hey, are you happy within this job because they will give you maybe a yes because they're receiving a salary? No, but are you being passionate about this work? Is this work better than the expectations that you had when you entered this company? And they will give you some pretty nice answers that you could doubt on them and decide if this company is the good one or is it not. One thing that I remember once ago, maybe like 10 years ago, was I was interviewed at a startup company, and this startup company, they were so eager for me to get into the boat, into the company, that I felt something really weird. You know, they were telling me yes to everything, and I think that is something also that it cannot be. There is no the perfect company. You cannot say yes to everything. There has to be a learning curve of something. Is your product, I don't know, did you nail all the user growth or the user metrics at first? Yes, we did it because we are great and this is an amazing product. That might not be the answer that I'm looking for. A Tell me, what is the usual time, the number of hours that your team works? Well, we only work 6 hours a day. I think that is not something that I want to know, because maybe it is not 6 hours, maybe it is 8 plus 6 hours. No, and it depends on the stuff that you value the most. One thing that I always ask, it is more like a generic question, but it's something good. Is are you learning from this position? And people will tell you, oh yes, because I learned this new framework, I learned this new language, programming language, I learned this, I didn't know about this, yada yada yada. But people will tell you if they are learning, because in the end, people has, regardless of the company, of the size of the company or the position, you have to learn to apply that knowledge. You cannot do the same. over and over again. By learning, you will discover if that is the place that you want to be or not.
Yeah,
What do
and
you
I
think
think,
of this?
and I think if you're asking, because probably one of the people you're interviewing with is potentially going to be your boss or humane leader. It'll depend on their answer, right? As whether they're a boss or a humane leader. Is if they answer that question of what have you most recently learned, and they say I haven't learned anything, I can do this job perfectly. That is not the voice of a humane leader, right? A humane leader is more humble. A humane leader is a continuous learner. They're constantly learning new things. Yeah, maybe they might have been in this leadership role for the last 10 years, but I'm sure they must have learned something. And if they say they've got it down pat and it's just running smooth as silk, I hope that person's not my leader.
Oh yeah, yeah. Also, I think that besides the company culture, there is the leadership culture of the team that you're going to be. Because either if you're going to report to the CEO or to a head or a manager, etc., you require to know. And I think that this question goes along with that. Okay, I'm applying to this position at this company. Um, how would you describe the leadership culture within this team? And it will give you a lot of insights regarding that. How that person, what that manager is behaving with their team. Is it maybe a situational leadership? Is it maybe a micromanagement leadership? Is it something that, hey, I have this kind of philosophy: fail often, fail smart. I know that you will fail, but I won't nag you. I won't reprimand you about this. I want you to fail and to learn about this. And we could discuss. And I want to know also: is there a emotion intelligence within the leadership? You want to detect that because we are humans and we want to work with humans. We don't want to be felt that we are robots without sentiments nor emotions. We want to be in that kind of culture. Hey, if I have an idea, could I mention to you? Could we work on that? Maybe they will tell you, no, 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 no. There are some guidelines directly from the head or from the VP or the CEO that you have to follow, or the opposite. Yes, this is a culture in which we foster this kind of innovation, and all your ideas might be worth, if it's that business value worth, please hit them on, read them. I think when the interviewer has this passion to answer, it's something really good. And let me tell you, once this engineering manager who was interviewing me told me, at this company, the culture is amazing. I was back a few years ago. I came from Amazon, and Amazon culture, it wasn't like this one, in which she began delving, answering something, and I felt as emotion as her. I was so empathic with the things that she told me, that I said, I want to be working at this company because it's amazing. I feel that I'm more as a human, that I'm more as a number. So I think those specific traits are the ones that you should be looking for.
Absolutely. And again, I think as everyone gets more experience interviewing, in other words, we get rusty. We worked at a company maybe for a few years or a long time, and we get a little rusty. So do realize that these skills of asking questions and being comfortable listening to this, your very first interview, if you haven't interviewed for a new job in 5 or 10 years, you're going to be rusty at this. So realize that the first time you try and probe some of these questions that we've discussed today, it isn't going to go too smoothly, right? You're not going to be great at asking that. So realize too that you may have to go through a few interviews before you get good at detecting what the company culture is like. But I think if you can get a few of these cultural questions in, you'll have a much better success rate at picking companies that you'll enjoy working at, and you'll want to be there for a longer period of time, right?
Oh, yes. And one thing, two things that are important is one thing is to understand from the interviewer how many years have they been at the company. If they've been maybe about 6, 7 years old, not old, but have been about what? Sorry about that. It was an alarm. Um, if that individual has been about 5 years old, oh, that means a lot. That doesn't mean it's positive or negative, but you have to ask the right question. Okay, you've been in this company of 8, 9 years. So tell me how the culture has been evolving in this company, and it will provide you with a lot of sense and a lot of information that you could decide, which is kind of different from the person who might say, yeah, I've been here 8 years and things have been going okay and everything. So that person might be in a conformity state or that it doesn't involve a culture who foster you to become better. Uh, and this is like meeting a stranger, either that should that should be a friend or I don't know, maybe you're looking for you're being on a date. What you want to listen from that person is eagerness, something that matches your values, uh, the things that who you are. And if you listen to boring answers or something that it doesn't provide passion, that is not the place that you want to be in.
Yeah, I think it will show some red flags, and you need to reconsider that that's where you want to be.
Yeah, indeed, red flags. Got it. Cool. I think with this in mind, we should end this episode, which I think it was really valuable.
Absolutely. And again, if anybody has questions, we do many of these platforms that this is on do allow questions. We'd welcome to hear what your thoughts are, and if we'll take some of those questions for future topics. So thanks for listening, everybody. Good to see you, Roberto.
Yeah. Bye bye, Chris.